All right, check, check, mic check. Perfect. We'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, hello and welcome to round 10 of season 9 SRL. It is the Dutch Grand Prix today. My name is Brian. We're going to get started here with some short qualifying. It is the course at the seaside town of Zandvoort. If you've ever seen an F1 race here, you've played the game, you know positively cambered turns makes it very easy to get a lot more grip. A lot more grip means a lot more speed coming into and out of these turns. Should be a fun one. And we've got a Mercedes already coming out onto track. Excuse me, that's an Aston Martin. And that is Cameron Weston Edwards coming back to SRL for his first race in some time. 17 podiums in his career with SRL. Looking for the first win. We'll get as much information here as we can. The Dutch Grand Prix today, round 10, as I said. Coming off round 9 in Spain a few weeks ago, it was Nicolo Falzaresi, Jenson Randall, Logan Oren, your podium there. Here at the Dutch GP in 2022, Tim Bentinck, Alexei Koivuniemi, and this man, Cameron Weston Edwards, your podium then. Alexei Koivuniemi not present for today's race. Tim Bentinck is, you see there, in the Alpine. But the podium should be in line for a bit of a shakeup. Falzaresi, Randall, Oren, the 1v1 winner from last week, Max Mulder, all having an opportunity, but we get started here as Weston Edwards coming in to turn 1 at Zandvoort, and then the combination of turn 2 here, a slight kink to the left, and then a right. He's going to want to kind of take this almost as a V, gets a lot of curve there, maybe a little bit of grass, but early on the power, lots of downforce there coming around turn 3. Some nice flat out sections here. Maybe dip into 6th gear. Slight lift as he gets around turn 7, coming into the second part of the triple right-hander, turns 8 and 9. Try to get back to the outside for turn 10. And then the DRS zone here, leading up to the chicanes of turn 11 and 12. Avoids that sausage curb. That's where the line is. It's a little atypical for a chicane exit, but you want kind of that middle part of the track. And now it is again that banked final turn here. All sorts of speed you're going to get. And Cameron Weston Edwards going to put up the first time. It is a 1:11.1 in the Aston Martin. And almost immediately Logan Oren in the Haas with the 1:08. And we are just too late to catch Jenson Randall with the 1:08.6. Freya Bly out on the mediums coming in. I assume going to get the softs. Checking the setup. Max Mulder doing the same on the intermediates. I tell you what, maybe getting an idea of who's on what tire will give us an idea of who's running a qualifying lap and who's checking setups. Robin Hertzschothagen here in the McLaren. As he comes around turns 8 and 9. He's got the Ferrari behind him, and that's contact early in qualifying. And it sure did seem like Robin Hertzschothagen was on a hot lap. So I believe that was Sandro Dulis. Caught the wrong end of him. Not sure what happened. Both on laps they were trying to set a time with. at least even with that contact, a 109.3, good enough for P4 currently. So fireworks early. As we got here, even Brito, looks like I see a bit of debris on the tires, so quite a bit of marbling present. I expect coming in perhaps for a fresh set. Go to the Haas of Noah Smith, who just put up a purple Sector 1 into the nice flowing Sector 2. One of my favorite sectors on the calendar, Sector 2 here at Zandvoort. The Haas coming around a nice straight here, coming up to the chicane where we just saw the Ferrari and the McLaren have a little contact, and a purple Sector 2 for Noah Smith. So the track evolution, very real here at Zandvoort. But Noah Smith also a strong driver, some good battles in the 1v1 just a week ago. Minimizes the track length, a 108.7 for him. So a nice showing for Noah Smith, currently P2. Speaking of purple sectors, it's now Freya Balai, the other McLaren. As we see him come around the last turn, going to pick up all the speed. Will stick to the outside. It's going to be a 109, just about flat, good for P5. So as you can see there, it's less than a second between pole and P8. Pablo Baz in the Williams there, currently at P8. The Aston Martin of Weston Edwards still to put a second lap up. He was the first one out there. Catch back up with him as he's on his second qualifying lap. That big banking of turn 3, so easy to get grip. And now turn 7 for him, a slight lift into 6. Keep it in 6 here, maybe a quick touch of the brakes. And trying to get outside here for turn 10. You see Weston Edwards avoiding the inside curb. That's what I've learned to do myself. The curbs seem to end a little bit sooner than at other tracks. You don't want to pick up any grass. As he comes around, that's turns 13 and 14 here. Looking for an improvement. I think he's going to get it a 0.8 improvement, 110.2 for Weston Edwards. No improvement on the standings, currently P12 for him. We'll go to the Italian Nicolo Falzaresi. Looks like abandoning this lap. As he finishes up Sector 3 here shortly, we'll see if he wants to stay out on these tires. It looks like he will, so we'll get a lap with the Italian driver who's been on a hot streak recently. Comes around here, the combined turn 2. Keeps it in 5th for the revs. Gets outside early, quick on the power. Comes up turn 7. You hear in 6, a slight lift. Goes up to 7th here. Good exit, avoids the outside curb. Maybe a little deep there. So he'll finish up sector 2. We'll get a good idea of where he's at. Almost 2/10 improvement for Falzaresi. That would, of course, put him on pole if he can maintain that pace. It's going to be close. So he comes around. It's going to be a 108 for sure. A 108.592. Nearly a 10th on Jensen Randall for him. So well done. And Jensen Randall might have to come back out. I think he was hoping he wouldn't have to. Just about all of our drivers have put up a qualifying time now. You see about 3 seconds between pole of Nicolo Falzaresi and Robin Hertzstadthagen, the 111.5. But the track is only getting quicker. As the Greek driver Sandro Dulis comes around. Gonna go into the pits. Did look like he had abandoned that one in an early sector. And El Garzma also appears to not be on a hot lap here. One of, I believe, 5 Dutch drivers here at their home GP. Nearly a third of the field with the red, white, and blue flag of the Netherlands. As he dips in. But I do see that Jensen Randall has improved by nearly 2/10 as he comes around sector 3. And it truly does seem like he was just waiting for someone to beat his time, and he'll come out a 108.4. So gauntlet thrown for the Aston Martin. And we'll see if Falzaresi has a response to that. All of the drivers into the pit lane. Going to prepare for one last lap around Zandvoort. Freya Belay here. Won't be an improvement, I assume, coming into the pit lane himself. Yes, indeed. As even Brito puts up a time 111.3. Weston Edwards here, coming up on turns 13 and 14. You saw the split there briefly, an improvement coming through sector 2. And it's close to an improvement on the table. Less than a 10th behind Tim Ventink, last year's winner here. The outlap for Nicolo Falzaresi. Appears trying to get ahead of traffic. Will hopefully get his last hot lap in before everyone chooses to leave the pit lane, getting the tires up to temperature, you see. Noah Smith also making his way out. This exit, the most important as you start a qualifying lap. And here goes Falzaresi. Coming around turn 2 here. Easy to understeer right there. Keeps the revs up. Nice use of the full track width. Using that curb, no grass on the tires. You hear the downshift into 6 for that turn. Some drivers will keep it in 6 here, over rev a little bit. The nice exit and entry into turn 10. It's a DRS straight here. We'll see the splits shortly. Down a 10th. Chooses not to be too aggressive on the chicane. You can jump over that sausage curb on the inside. But he needed a 10th improvement to take pole over Jensen Randall. I don't think he's going to be able to find 2 tenths in one sector. A 108.7 for him. So it appears Falzaresi, no improvement on the 108.5. But he's 2 tenths clear of P3. That's Noah Smith and the Haas. Check one of the home drivers, Eric Elgersma, as he just starts his lap coming around turn 3. A 109.2 looking to improve in the Red Bull. The slight kink left and right. We'll see the sector split. He's 2 tenths improved. That puts him in striking distance of Dulis after only 1 sector. Coming around turn 10. In the DRS straight. So we'll get a better idea now. Is Freya Belay in striking distance? He is. As it is now, about even with Belay. And time still to make up here in Sector 3. But Belay and Dulis on their own. Hot laps to come. Elgersma across the start finish. It's a 108.829, a 4 tenths improvement. Right now, P4. But everyone around him going to be looking to improve as well. Oh, meanwhile, Jesper Limpinen, the Finnish driver in the AlphaTauri. That is suboptimal. So no improvements going to be possible for Jesper here. So make way for the other drivers coming out of the nicely banked turn 3. We'll check Noah Smith. P3 looking to improve as Jensen Randall put up a 108.2. I don't think anyone's going to be within striking distance of that. A huge improvement for Jensen Randall. Looks like Noah Smith trying for a little bit of a toe there on the Red Bull. He might actually be getting one here from the Aston Martin just in front of him. We'll see. He's coming around. He might be getting quite a toe. Noah Smith going to cross start finish at a 108.5. He does improve. P2. And a tip of the hat, I'm sure, to the Aston Martin in front of him. That is the Aston Martin of Cameron Weston Edwards. Elgersma and Logan Orand into the pits. So as you see it on the table to your left is as will start. Max Mulder, the qualifying ban, despite winning the 1v1 last week at Silverstone. Jensen Randall nearly 3 tenths clear on pole of Noah Smith, whose lap we just saw. Nicolo Falzaresi in P3. And the Dutch driver Eric Elgersma will complete the second row. So it'll be 36 laps around Zandvoort. Rain always a possibility on this track. And despite having the advantage of their home GP, the Dutch drivers spread out across the field. It is the Brits in the first row. See, they're P1 to P7, all in the 108s. And then nearly the rest of the field around the 109s. So if you joined us for the 1v1 tournament last week, there were, of course, no formation laps. It was just a quick one-lap race. There will be a formation lap here today. And otherwise, the pit rules, everything done manually. Nearly every race, I think we've seen penalties for exceeding the pit limits. Weston Edwards coming back to SRL. This is the first season where pit entry is manually done. So hopefully he'll be well aware and understanding that I'll have to reduce the speed himself. Again, it is the Dutch Grand Prix here at Zandvoort. We'll on board for the formation lap with Jensen Randall. A nice slow tour of the track here. This is the combined turn 2 and then the hugely cambered turn 3. If you watched the F1 race earlier this year, you saw a lot of drivers take that on the outside. In this game, a lot of drivers will take a late apex in turn 3 early on the power, almost a V shape. The slight kink here of turn 7, usually just downshift into 6 and you're good. And then if you want to keep it into 6, a little tap of the brakes before, but can be a tricky turn for me. Easy to understeer there and run a bit wide, really compromising the entry into turn 10 if you do that. Nice DRS zone here coming into the chicane. You can really cut that inside curve, the first part of the chicane. Can disrupt the car slightly, but you will always have one tire within the track limits. And here, that last turn, almost as much camber as turn 3. Lots of grip, lots of fun. Able to get it early on the power. And we'll see Jensen Randall park it. Noah Smith next to him going to do the same. Nice packed field here for the Dutch Grand Prix. You see the hard compounds for the top 3 drivers. But the lights will come on here in Zandvoort, Seaside. It's round 10 of SRL. Lights out, here we go. Jensen Randall gets away. Noah Smith going to be right behind him. Noah Smith immediately takes the outside. Jensen going a little defensively coming into turn 1. Number 2 wide almost the whole way back. 3 wide at places. And then here we go. Cold tires. Is anyone going to be a little overextended here? Looks good at the top half of the table. We go on with Sandro Dulis. He's got Pablo Baz and Freya Belay right next to him as they come around turn 7 here. And again, 2 wide. Sometimes this track can feel so restricted left to right, as it looks like the Alpine of Max Mulder stuck after turn 7. Dulis now. Pablo Baz right behind him. Logan Orange starting to pull away, even though Logan's got the hard compound. around the chicane. And did a little snap there from Tim Ventink, last year's winner, on the soft compound. The only soft runner right now. He's going to be looking to make up as much position as he can before that first pit stop. And Tim Ventink pulling away from Nick Van Gelder in P10. Looking ahead, Pablo Baz and Sandro Dulis, a little bit of a battle here so far. That's going to benefit Tim Ventink. Coming around turn 3 here. And there again, something about that little straight after turn 3. Just looks like there's not enough room for more than one car at a time. Almost feels like they got to be single file. Turns 8 and 9 here as we follow Pablo Baz, Ventink, Dulis. Looks like quite a collision, enough to give Jesper Limpinen a 5-second penalty in the back. We'll stay on board with where the action is, as the top 9 drivers have kind of pulled away from the rest of the pack here. Jensen Randall still out front here. Another fastest lap for him. Now they're just coming one after the other. It's Freya Balaya, 1:12.1. We're on lap 3, so DRS going to be enabled. Most of, again, the top half of the field going to have that DRS. On board with Noah Smith, as Elgersma able to get the overtake done. He's in P2 on the medium compound. Otherwise, 5 of the drivers in the top 6 in the hard compound, they are content to let the chaos happen behind them. We come around turn 9 into turn 10, and then we'll have the first DRS zone that's going to be active in this race. Nice overhead shot there. Noah Smith with the Red Bull of Elgersma in front of him. Around the chicane, many of the drivers that we saw in this shot taking that pretty aggressively, hopping over that sausage curb. Tires warmed up, not worried about disruptions. What a shot. Further down, it's Logan Oren looking for the overtake here, I think on Freya Balai. Gonna have DRS, gonna have slipstream. Looks like he's gonna choose the inside. He's gonna get it. A little contact there. Not sure Freya Balai took the worst of it. And when you kind of hook into each other in F1 23, it is the driver with the tires behind. I feel like it's usually more affected. So it's not just Logan Oren getting the overtake done on Freya Balai, Dulis as well. And Logan Oren kind of on an island here. About a second to those in front of him, a second to those behind him. So we go back up. Noah Smith really putting the pressure on Elgersma, even with Elgersma having the tire advantage. We'll see what he can do. Coming out of turn 13, DRS going to be active going into turn 14. You don't usually see DRS before a turn, but the camber on this one makes this a flat-out turn 14. And now it's Logan Oren and Nicolo Falzaresi making up ground. Falzaresi, he takes a look inside. You see Noah Smith on the defensive. But it sure does seem like Falzaresi, it's only a matter of time. Nico, one of the fastest drivers, great manager of the races, putting in some really strong showings over the last few races. And now it's top 4, really kind of pulling away from the rest of the pack. As you see, Elgersma right on the diffuser of Jensen Randall, something we don't see too often. He's going to have DRS coming in to play right here out of turn 10, although Jensen gets through turns 9 and 10 a little bit more efficiently and pulls away back up to 4/10. Around the chicane. Jensen Randall, cool as a cucumber. Saw Algarisma get within 2/10 of him. Now it's back up to 5/10. Algarisma is going to have DRS and a bit of a toe here on this straight. And Jensen not going to fight it too much early on. But Algarisma still not able to get the overtake done. Jensen's going to have the line coming in. A good exit for him. And I mean, during all this, Noah Smith able to kind of close the gap himself. And it is tightly packed here with the top four. Algarisma, the Dutch driver in the Red Bull here at Zandvoort. Looking to recreate some magic from earlier in the year from another Dutch driver in the Red Bull. Into the chicane. Again, all the drivers, now that the tires warmed up, feeling comfortable, really hopping that first part of the chicane. And we'll see now how much space can Algarisma make up, and can Noah Smith and Nicolo Falzaresi do anything? Again, Algarisma looking to the inside. Couldn't get it done last time, but this time it looks like he's going to. Yes, indeed. Eric Algarisma, your race leader here on lap 7. The overtake over Jensen Randall, and Jensen, I don't know if there was contact or just a little bit unsettled from the inside curb on turn 3 there. Either way, a nice job to save it. And lots more action here at the top of the table than we're used to, and unsettled for Algarisma. And what a mistake that was. Unfortunate. Trying to take it very aggressively there on turn 8. Usually a downshift, quick tap of the brakes. But too much of that outside curb. It's bumpy, it'll unsettle the car. And he tumbles to P4 as Jensen Randall's back up in the lead. Not only that, Logan Oren is sniffing around. So there's going to be debris on the tires for Algarisma. Going to affect his grip. And he's on the medium compound, so damage to the longevity of the tires as well. Pablo Baz will be the first to make a pit stop. Jensen Randall back in the lead. Lap 8 here. Jensen Randall, Noah Smith, Nicolo Falzaresi, all steady drivers, skilled drivers, just pouncing on that mistake from Algarisma. But a great job from Algarisma to really recover. That could have been a race-ending bit of an incident there for him. We'll go a little bit further back in the grid. It's Max Mulder, the winner of last week's 1v1 tournament. Qualifying ban today, already up to P11. Looking to go on a long stint with the hard tires. The only one outside of the first few rows going on the hard compound. A look to get the overtake done on Weston Edwards. Not sure he's going to have it. We'll have DRS here, so we'll see if he wants to go for it. Coming down the long straight at the start-finish line. Looks inside. Weston Edwards will duck back in. Good overtake there for Max Mulder. So the hunt continues for Max Mulder. Nick Van Gelder next up, a few seconds ahead. But again, he's going to look for a long stint on the hard compounds. The grid a bit more spaced out than we've seen in recent rounds here at SRL. So perhaps good news for the runners on the hard compound. Hopefully no safety cars. We've seen quite a few in the last few rounds. And as a result, a spin out there in the chicane, and it's Dulis into Freya Belay. And I assume the wing is damaged for Dulis. don't see anything visible, but he is going in. And Belai's going to stay out. He took it right on the side pod. So apologies to the drivers for a bit of commentator's curse there. You mentioned no real incidents so far that might induce a safety car, and then you see something like that, which I think under real life circumstances, of course, would be a safety car. You know, the top 5 unchanged, but Tim Ventink up to P6 now. So Ventink and Van Gelder, the beneficiaries of that incident with Dulis and Freya Belai. And Ventink on the soft compound doing well. It would be a big ask for anyone starting as far back on the grid as Ventink to catch back up to this top 5 of Jensen Randall, Noah Smith, Nicolo Falzaresi, Eric Helgersma, and Logan Orend. A nice shot of all 5 there. Helgersma, the only runner on screen, something that's not the hard compound tire. He's on lap 10 of the medium. So we'll see how aggressive he wants to be. He's not running the same race as those around him. And Noah Smith has just been in the middle, threatening the whole time here so far. As we come around into the DRS zone of Sector 2. That is even Brito that it looks like Jensen Randall and Noah Smith are going to be seeing ahead of them for the next couple laps. And it looks like the top part of the grid starting to settle here. You see Nicolo trying to break the toe behind him of Helgersma and Orend. But Helgersma at least was happy to just follow suit. He wanted that toe all the way down the straight. And Logan Orend actually, and Eric Helgersma, a little bit of a battle, and Logan Orend's going to get the overtake done. So great job there from Logan Orend. Can't remember the last time we've seen him start on the hard compound. He is someone who likes to get that advantage early on, usually going softer at the start. But it is now Nicolo Falzaresi between the two Haas's. As we're on lap 12. A little bit further down, Dion Stahl here with Cameron Weston Edwards. Ferrari of Dion Stahl looking to make a move here. DRS enabled. Weston Edwards also going to have DRS around the chicane. We'll see if Dion Stahl can make a move here going into that long straight coming into turn 1. And the ERS light flashing for Weston Edwards. An easy overtake for Dion Stahl coming into turn 1. He's now P11, looking for some points today. Logan Orend just a couple tenths behind Nicolo Falzaresi. See Helgersma there, a quick snap. Maybe the medium starting to fall off. I would say no scheduled pit stops yet. You see Pablo Baz in the Williams, Sandro Dulis, even Brito on tires a little bit younger than the rest of the group, but I think all for good reasons getting into the pits. So no one has blinked yet as far as changing tires. As Logan Orend going to go inside, as there's the Mercedes of even Brito might have compromised that slightly, but Logan Orend going to get the overtake done. He's in P3 now. So just a good, patient race for Logan Oren. Started P5, made his way up to P3. Tim Ventink, the first to go into the pits at the conclusion of lap 13. And you see Jensen Randall and Noah Smith there in the foreground, really starting to pull away. Logan Oren not going to have DRS coming out of turn 10, but Nicolo Falzaresi will. So Nico going to be able to continue pressuring Logan Oren, while Logan's going to be without DRS for at least a little bit here. On board with Nico. DRS, this nice long straight, looks inside. Logan not going to fight that. You see Logan in the rear view mirrors there. Well done for Nicolo Falzaresi. P3 for him. As Jensen sees Noah Smith overtake him for the race lead. Coming into the triple right-hander of 7, 8, and 9. As they come out of turn 10, Jensen will have DRS. As we start to approach the halfway point of the Dutch Grand Prix. You see the wing open there. Not really long enough straight for Jensen to threaten, but can put Noah Smith under pressure. A little more conservative for both drivers around the chicane. Tires are a bit older, don't want to risk it. We've already seen one incident around the chicane. Freya Belay and the McLaren spinning out. But now Jensen's going to have the straight as Nico, I think, faked going into the pit. Jensen Randall back into the race lead over Noah Smith. Falzaresi 1.6 seconds behind Noah Smith. So again, these two really starting to separate themselves from the rest of the field. I wouldn't be surprised to see these two kind of work together, especially coming out of turn 14 on that long straight across the start-finish line. Help each other out, extend the stint, swap positions if you have to. Manage your ERS well. You see neither light flashing. As we get into the DRS zone, the end of sector 2 here. Elsewhere, it's Pablo Baz and the Williams trying to chase down Tim Ventink. Going to be a tall task. Ventink on 2-lap-old mediums. Expect he would have the tire advantage. It looks like Logan Oren and Nicolo now battling. Going into turn 3, Logan Oren maintains position. I think Falzaresi on the straight had a bit of a look. Weston Edwards, you see pitting there on the mediums after 15 laps. Max Mulder here looking at Vincenzo Torre. Vincenzo Torre, 16-lap-old medium compound tires. I think Max Mulder going to have the grip advantage here. And grip really going to dictate how you take turn 8 here. No oversteer there for Max Mulder. Very well done. Coming into turn 10, the exit will be important. You expect Max will be able to get on the power a little bit earlier, have the DRS. A little bit of wiggle there. Going to lose a couple tenths perhaps. But DRS going to make that time up for him. Max Mulder, is he going to get the overtake done on the straight here coming out of turn 14? DRS going to be open. winner of the 1v1, getting the toe there from Vincenzo Torre. Look at the straight line speed, DRS, and the toe. Vincenzo Torre was able to break a little bit later, it seemed, but the overtake done for Max Mulder. Up into P7. The Alfa Romeo of Nicolo Falzaresi. He and Logan Orand have really been going back and forth with each other. Now they're nearly 3 seconds behind the race leader, though. And still no pit stops for top 8, as you see. Elgersma and Vincenzo Torre, you expect to be the first to pit, as we see Elgersma dip into the pit lane along with Logan Orand. So for Logan, he likes to take the softer compounds as far as he can. So I think the strategy is make up the time now, see if the undercut's on. Falzaresi going to have a lot of clean air and track in front of him. Freya Balai in P4, but about 16 seconds behind Falzaresi. So I believe the McLaren you see just behind Nico, that is actually the McLaren of Robin Hertstadthagen. Nice shot here of our race leader and the man who's been trading places with him, Jensen Randall, Noah Smith. You see Noah Smith avoiding that curb now, 19 laps in on these tires of the chicane. Still within DRS, but not quite as threatening to Jensen Randall as he had been, as you saw Nicolo Falzaresi go into the pit lane. And that's going to hurt, the 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And that might just hurt Falzaresi's chances of taking this race. As Freya Balai comes out just in front of Nico. Logan Orand, unfortunate to be right behind Freya Balai himself, but he does have the tire advantage, so I think Logan should be able to make quick work of this. We'll have to be a little bit patient, as he's going to have so much more grip here than Freya. And a little contact between the two. And somehow it seems like it's frequently these two, Logan Orand and Freya Balai, and that you hate to see. As it looked as if Freya Balai kind of turned into Logan, maybe. And while this is all happening, into the pits go the race leaders. So essentially identical strategies here for Jensen and Noah. Nicolo Falzaresi coming around turn 1 himself, with Elgersma right behind him. So Nicolo went into the pits about 2.5 seconds behind Jensen and Noah Smith, so the undercut not quite on, but there's been a lot happening on the track between those pit stops. And now it's Jensen Randall and Noah Smith going to have a slight tire advantage for hopefully the rest of the race. Barring any safety cars, they're going to be looking to finish on the mediums. Elgersma on the hard compound for the rest of the race. So we'll see when he gets the advantage. But that'll still be a few laps to go. And again, you see Falzaresi, the light flashing for the ERS, although he does have a great outlap there, 111 flat. But it's Jensen Randall and Noah Smith. It feels like DRS for them has been well stocked, working together. Jensen's starting to pull away slightly, getting close to a second, which Noah Smith's not going to want to let him get more than a second away. And the rest of the field pits, so everyone has had at least one pit stop now, as you see Max Mulder and Pablo Baz exchange their tires. Max Mulder looking to continue the run up the grid now on the soft compound. Purple sector there for Noah Smith. He's made up about 3/10 in about half a lap. Comes out of turn 14, gonna have DRS. You see the gap there just disintegrating as he gets the fastest lap of the day so far, 1:10.8. Go to the man on the fastest tire on track right now. Max Mulder, your 1v1 tournament winner. Soft compound, Dion Stahl just in front of him on hard compound tires. So a nice straight here with DRS. Should be easy for Max. There he goes inside. Dion Stahl not going to fight it. And Max Mulder still work to do, but he's got the tires to do it. Here with the Mercedes of Vincenzo Torre, the Aston Martin of Cameron Weston Edwards just behind him. And the other Mercedes, that of Ivan Brito, you saw there facing the wrong direction coming out of turn 9. Able to get back on track. And we've seen quite a bit of a loss of grip on turns 8 and 9 especially. They are high-speed turns. But for me especially, turns 8 and 9, kind of easy to understeer into those. You hit that outside curb, and the car will be facing the wrong direction frequently. Vincenzo Torre able to maintain position even on the straight with Weston Edwards having DRS. Back up with the race leader. Jensen Randall here, out of the chicane, looking at turn 13 in front of him. Starting to pull away from Noah Smith. Smith had been around 4/10 behind Jensen pretty consistently earlier in the race. Now it's been closer to 6, 7, 8/10. Noah Smith has DRS, will close the gap a bit there, but Jensen Randall's looking comfortable now in the back half of the race. I believe that is AI maintaining the Mercedes of Ivan Brito. And the field starts to space out a little bit more with exception of the battle for the race lead. One of the closest gaps currently on the grid. We've checked in with these two a lot. Vincenzo Torre, Weston Edwards also battling with each other. Otherwise, a couple seconds between each other car. Randall and Smith pitted at the exact same time. They're running the exact same race strategy. And they're really starting to pull away from the field, so only a safety car could really disrupt what's going on now for these two. Max Mulder with a soft compound, probably able to have the most excitement on track right now. Should be an easy overtake of Weston Edwards here on the straight, as again, that is the Mercedes, this time of Vincenzo Torre, going into the pit lane. An easy overtake there for Max Mulder, up into P9. So with Torre going into the pits and the overtake on Weston Edwards, suddenly Max Mulder in the points, P11 to P9 in one straight. Seven tenths for Noah Smith. Going into turn 14 with DRS. Usually gets around 4 tenths here on this straight with DRS, but then Jensen able to just find the time on the other parts of the track. Noah Smith could certainly be building his ERS for a push late. He and Jensen seem to be managing the race well. Nothing too taxing on the tires or the ERS for either driver. And to good effect as Nicolo Falzaresi 5 seconds behind them, along with a 5-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. So you think right now, provisionally, it's Eric Algersma on the podium with these two. Of course, we're not privy to all the penalties currently assessed to Falzaresi. Things like track limits can always be removed by the stewards after the race. Randon Smith completing lap 27 here. There'll be 9 to go as things start to settle. On board in the Haas with Noah Smith. Looks like there is a Ferrari on the exit of turn 10 that these two may come upon shortly. But for now, a little clear air ahead of them. Perhaps some blue flags going to be shown soon. Into the DRS zone, Noah Smith going to have that DRS. Jensen may get a slight tow there from the Haas in front of him. Looking at the minimap, it seems that turn 8, yet another victim. I believe that's an Alpine. As the AlphaTauri makes way for the race leaders. Five tenths here for Noah Smith. See here, the position gained for Tim Ventink, Max Mulder, quite a bit. Both starting out of the points, now comfortably in the points. Tim Ventink is going to have a pit stop, but the gaps to Dion Stahl enough that he should still remain in the points. Max Mulder, Nick Van Gelder. Coming out of turn 3. Van Gelder on some older hard compound tires, probably going to finish the race on those, but the soft compounds of Max Mulder, not sure what the life is on the soft compound around Zandvoort, but I don't think he's going to have too many more laps of advantage with them. Noah Smith, the gap has decreased into the range of 3/10. We saw it as high as 8 or 9/10. A couple laps ago, 6 or 7. So Noah Smith starting to apply some pressure to Jensen Randall here. Gonna have DRS coming out of turn 14, 5/10 behind. We'll see if he at least takes a look. Plenty of toe. Look at all the position or all the time gained. But you can kind of hear Noah Smith going off the throttle a little early. So content to stay behind Jensen Randall for now. Maintain that ERS, maintain the tire life. But based on the sounds of the engine going into turn 1, Noah Smith still has a lot more that he can push here with 5.5 laps remaining. Tim Ventink, the 1:10.7 on the soft compound, so puts on the softs, looking for fastest lap, I think. Ventink going to be looking to push over the next 5 laps, maybe get another position on Nick Van Gelder. And now Noah Smith really breathing down the neck of Jensen Randall, but still never looked to the inside. So Noah Smith has had opportunities. He's chosen not to take them in the last couple laps. But I think coming out of turn 14 at the end of this lap, we'll really start to see what the game plan is. These two switched positions on that long straight early on in the race, working together. And they now have 9 seconds on P3, so it's been to good effect. Essentially running their own 1v1 here at Zandvoort. Through the chicane. And we'll see what Noah Smith's got in store this time. We've seen him get right up to that rear wing of Jensen, but again, never really threatening to take a look. And again, you hear the lift and coast. So maybe trying to maintain some fuel there too for Noah. Elsewhere in the grid, Max Mulder did get that overtake on Nick Van Gelder. Tim Ventink a couple seconds behind Van Gelder now. But it's really been a race about these two, Jensen Randall, Noah Smith. Just nice and easy, no risks taken, working together when it's been appropriate. We've seen other race leaders. Algarzma had a lap or two. And this time going into that long straight, Jensen Randall's got a bit more of a gap. 3 laps to go. If you're Noah Smith, the clock is running. I know the fear is you get the overtake done on lap 34. Maybe Jensen takes it back on lap 35. But if he wants to win, he's going to have to at least go for it at some point. Being in the toe of Jensen with DRS, he's probably got more battery than Jensen. DRS here again for Noah Smith. finishing up Sector 2. You see ahead their Ferrari of Dion Stahl in the chicane along with Jensen. And it looks like the camber of turn 3, an incident there. The cars are stopped. You hope there's not going to be a safety car. Noah Smith here just driving right up on Jensen. That's an easy attempt, but a little contact, and now Noah Smith's race has been compromised. Overconfident on the brakes there. Just braking a little bit too late. Hooks in with Jensen Randall, and as we saw earlier, the driver behind, when you get hooked like that, tends to take the worst of it. And now Jensen, 7 seconds clear of Noah Smith. Certainly appears to be Jensen Randall's race from here. Noah Smith, such a great race to this point. He had to go for it. Comfortably in second with Nicolo Falzaresi a number of seconds behind, along with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So it will be a podium for Noah Smith, and it looks like it'll be a race win yet again for Jensen Randall as he comes around turn 14, and he'll start the final lap. And here we go with Jensen, turn 1. He can take it nice and easy. Calm and collected the whole race, as always, for him. See here, Nicolo Falzaresi briefly overtaken by Eric Elgersma. Gets back in front. 5-second penalty for Nicolo, speeding in the pit lane. So it looks like Elgersma's going to have a podium with SRL today as well. Logan Ornd, a nice recovery, comfortably in P5 for him. But we'll stay with the man who comes around the chicane for the last 2 turns, Jensen Randall, the ringer of SRL this year, full-time driver in the Aston Martin. Alexei Koivuniemi not able to race, but that's perfectly all right for the constructors' leaders, Aston Martin. Jensen Randall coming down the start-finish. Going to be a race win for him. What a race. Vincenzo Torri, Dion Stahl coming across the finish line. Their race will be completed as well. They'll finish in the points. Noah Smith in P2. Elgersma going to finish ahead of Nicolo Falzaresi. And with that penalty, Logan Ornd also able to make up time. Provisionally P4. Wasn't able to see what that last penalty attributed to Nicolo was. Sandro Dulis, a long stint on those hard compound tires, 26 laps. I believe that's the longest we're going to see. He'll finish well in the points too. Consistency the whole season for Dulis in P6. And Tim Ventink on the soft compound tires got quite a few overtakes on the second stint. And he'll just inch it across the line. Cameron Weston Edwards back in SRL, been here since season 3. 17 podiums, going to finish in the points, P8 for the Aston Martin. But it's Jensen Randall, your race winner again. Noah Smith, valiant effort. Just a little too much on lap 35 into turn 1. So your podium as it is, it's the Brits, P1 and P2. And the Dutch driver Eric Elgersma in P3 in the Red Bull there you see. So a great race for Jensen Randall and Noah Smith. Fun to watch up until the end. I can appreciate Noah Smith trying to get the move done. Had no other time really he could go for it. Just unfortunate to not quite have the braking power he thought because he had plenty of battery left. Logan Orange, good recovery into P4. Nicolo Falzaresi, P5. But that'll do it for the Dutch Grand Prix SRL Round 10. We'll be back in 2 weeks with one of the most famous races in the world. It's the Monaco Grand Prix SRL in 2 weeks for Round 11. Nicolo Falzaresi, Jenson Randall, Max Mulder, your podium from last year. But we'll see you then. My name is Bryan Kessler. It's been fun. Have a good one.